everyone and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make a very traditional Pennsylvania Dutch noodles, and that is to have on your pantry shelf. But we're going to be using some non-traditional ways of making them. I have a KitchenAid and I have this KitchenAid attachment. I needed to do a review for our son because he got the attachment knowing that I had the KitchenAid. I love the KitchenAid because there's so many different attachments that you can put on here. This was given to me as a birthday gift about 6 years ago, and I love my KitchenAid. It's a heavy-duty appliance, and as you know, in the, I don't know how many years KitchenAid has been in business, you know that it stood the test of time. We're going to make the recipe out of my relative's cookbook. So this is a cousin of mine, distant cousin, and she wrote a cookbook. And we're going to use the noodle one. Now there's two different recipes. I'm going to try this one. I never tried this one before. Then I'm going to try to make bulk noodles, and that will be for putting on the pantry shelf. So simple to make noodles. Now a lot of times they make them on their kitchen counter. I am going to be making mine in my bowl. It's just easier for me that way. It's so simple. It is only 4 ingredients. It is eggs, cold water, flour, and salt. We're going to mix it up, and then I'm going to use this roller to roll them out thin, and then use the cutter to cut them. We're going to try the cutter and see, you know, how thin it makes them. This might only make spaghetti. We'll see what it does. If not, then I will use my manual roller and my manual cutter. All right, everyone, let's get started. I also have one of these. This is a drying rack for noodles. These are so reasonably priced. They're only a couple dollars on Amazon. And that way your noodles can dry for the 24 hours to 48 hours before you put them away for long-term storage. This is really cheap way of making noodles. This is an art that a lot of people don't do anymore simply because noodles are so cheap. But if we ever would get to a point in our life when we couldn't just go out to the store and buy noodles, this is a great way to make your own. Let's mix up the ingredients and let's get it working, and let's mix the dough up. Now, you've seen a lot of recipes where they have the flour and the salt and then they put the eggs in the middle. This actually is totally different. This says to beat the eggs and add the water to the eggs and then stir in the flour. This is a Pennsylvania Dutch recipe, so it's not Italian or maybe some of the other ways that you have seen it being made. Now I am using this flour from the Amish. It is pie dough flour, pastry flour, but you can use regular unbleached flour. Do not use bread flour. You don't want to have high gluten in your noodles. Mix this up till it forms a dough. You don't want to over knead it. It's not bread, so you only want to stir it and knead it as little bit as you possibly can. The same as pie dough. You don't want to knead pie dough. The more you knead it, the tougher it becomes. That's what it looks like. It's pretty good. It's pliable, not sticky. Now we can go ahead and roll it out. Now we're going to cut them. Beautiful. Now we're going to dry them. Now the thickness of how you want to cut them, it all depends. Alright everyone, I'm going to go ahead and make a larger batch, then I'm going to show you on the drying rack. I have them all drying here, and then I will show you back in about 48 hours what they look like dried. I'm going to go ahead and use the manual cutter now to see how nice they get that way. I love this attachment, but let's see what is it like to make them totally off grid. In other words, if you didn't have electricity. So I'll get back to you in just a minute. The music you heard playing throughout this video actually comes from a local church, and that is in Ephrata, Pennsylvania, where I was born and raised. It is a very plain church, and I thought you would enjoy hearing the music. I am going to be showcasing their music throughout my videos and future videos because I think it's so beautiful, the harmony that the plain people have. And there's no other music, there's no other instruments, it's just the beauty of their voice. I hope you enjoy it.